My name is Salem Vex from Crucifixion, and you are listening to DIEnecology podcast.
Do you ever fantasize about being killed? About all the different ways of dying?
Is it to awaken and feel the passing of time? Or is it the fading beat of your own heart?
They learned parts of a dismembered female body had been found in a remote corner of San Bernardino County. Why was her skull left outside a local restaurant? And where is the rest of her body?
Death is only the beginning.
Gory Gore Cries DIEnecology podcast. I'm your DIEnecologist. A very awesome guest today. We have Salem Vex of Crucifixion here to talk about Will to Power. It comes out October 11th on Rise Records. You have a few songs out already. You just dropped the VHS recently, and it's fucking killer. Like I love all the tracks so far. I was a huge Bloodbather fan, so it's really good to talk to you today. So how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Yeah, I'm doing awesome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. Notice the Hellraiser poster there. What else you got back there? You got Scream,
Yeah, I got Scream,
Beetlejuice.
I got The Exorcist over there, American
Nice.
Psycho,
Oh yeah.
Edward
Staples.
Scissorhands. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
I got some good ones in here.
Yeah, I just saw the new Beetlejuice last night. I actually really enjoyed it.
I didn't really like it, honestly.
Yeah.
I thought it was
It was a little
like,
cheesy.
yeah, a little Netflixy.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Yeah, but Michael Keaton's great. That's really
Yeah, no, he did a great
parts I was
job.
looking forward to in the movie.
He did a great job.
I think Jenna Ortega's a good actress. I think she kind of outshined a little bit in that. But other than that, if Michael Keaton's Beetlejuice in it, I'm cool. I'm easy to please with nostalgia.
Nah, I feel you.
How do you feel about the newer Scream movies? Are you a fan of those?
I thought the last one was pretty good. Honestly, I think
Yeah.
Scream has been pretty consistent as a
Yeah,
franchise.
same, yeah.
Compared to like other ones like Halloween and stuff. I think Scream has
Yeah.
definitely done the best.
Yeah, I don't really hate any of the Scream films, especially like 3. A lot of people, it's kind of like the Halloween 3. Like a lot of people have gone back and watched it and now they appreciate it more than they did.
Yeah.
Because I've always liked Scream 3 and the concept of like, uh the voice box that can mimic other people's voices. I thought that was unique, and the whole, meta story of like it being a movie in a movie kind of thing, like, Wes Craven's known for doing. So, um, I don't know. I like 3. It's got one of the best soundtracks like of all time.
Yeah, no, I agree. 3 is great. I think I have it on VHS somewhere. I have like a bunch of
Hell yeah.
VHSs. Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, let's get into it. So, Crucifixion, coming from I guess talk about your transition from Bloodbather to this, as far as like, is Bloodbather still going as well, or is this just a side project? Or like what inspired you to kind of go into Crucifixion?
Yeah, so like Crucifixion is essentially a continuation of Bloodbather. So I Bloodbather had a lot of lineup changes over time and
Right.
sound changes as well. I already knew going into like the last couple of songs that I wanted to kind of go more the deathcore route.
Yeah.
So I think that was, kind of the plan all along for me because that's kind of just where I find heavy music to be the most interesting. Um,
Absolutely.
and I've always had, this like uh this idea to make Bloodbather a little bit more to an extent like theatrical looking and stuff. And I
Yeah.
didn't really have that control, not being like the vocalist and stuff.
Sure.
So starting Crucifixion was just like the easy process of just like starting over and something that's more consistent off rip, and then yeah, just kind of having more like full control, being like, it's essentially almost like a one man type of show right now.
Yeah.
So just having that consistency just off rip I've been able to kind of just hone in on what I want exactly when it comes to visuals and sound and stuff like that. So that was just like the natural progression. So yeah, Bloodbather's done. But I appreciate all the fans and stuff, but
Yeah, yeah,
I didn't want to continue it in the way that, Crucifixion's been laid out. I kind of
yeah,
wanted to just start something new.
sure.
And, the old fans can still fuck with the, Bloodbather shit, but in my opinion, Crucifixion is just way fucking better.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that. When I first heard it, um, when I was sent the email about it, I was like, Crucifixion, what the fuck? And then I saw that you were in the, this was your new group. So I went and listened to it. I was like, man, this is like not even 2.0 of Bloodbather. It's like 3.0. Like, it's
Thank
great.
you. I
It's so
appreciate it.
fucking good. Bringing back the old school, um, deathcore vibes that I,
Yeah.
grew up with as a, like in high school and shit. And it's yeah, it's a testament to that, but it's also something new and still, like you said, something that Bloodbather fans can follow and kind of continue on with what you do and what you bring to the music, so in the genre. So yeah, it's been killer so far,
Thank
from
you
what
so
I've heard
much.
of it. Yeah, yeah.
Appreciate it.
I guess since we love to talk about death here, we'll get into the actual concept of the record. So I know it follows a character or some kind of like, revenge story that's kind of inspired by horror and things like that. So I guess talk a little bit about that and just your you know, what was your inspiration for, what you drew from to kind of make this character.
Yeah, so I would say my inspiration, I mean, it came from, obviously like my love of horror movies,
Yeah.
American Psycho, Creep, movies like that, like really, really inspired me.
Creep is
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, like movies like that, Nightcrawler. And
Mm,
then, on my own accord, I like reading, books on like philosophy and stuff.
sure, yeah.
And I just feel like a lot of people can take, books like 48 Laws of Power or Will to Power, and they kind of twist it into you know, their own way to make uh I guess their evil ways make sense to them. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah.
And I thought that that would be an interesting concept, to have somebody that's essentially a psychopath, like a serial killer, and he's taking things that could be used for self-improvement and feels right in his own mind to be doing the things that he's doing, um, because he's convinced himself,
Right,
and I think
yeah.
that's scary, just people twisting things that could be positive into a negative thing, and kind of
Absolutely.
like rewriting, uh, I guess their own story within, a book. So that's kind of like the concept that I had going in, was just like uh based off that. And it was essentially gonna be like one song that was like that, but I just felt like it made more sense to just I guess go over an entire album exploring that concept and kind of make it more of a story. So that's kind of just what I ended up doing.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I'm a
Yeah.
I'm a fan of concepts. I like being it gives the album longevity and replayability for sure, because you can revisit that, and also perspective.
Yeah.
But following consistent perspective and kind of going through the journey with the music, it makes you listen to things front to back instead of like, just like a couple of these tracks, but actually following the story and understanding it the way the music flows too is a really like, it's an awesome thing. It makes you really appreciate the music more, and it also gives it more value too, because you're telling a full story that requires you to take in all of the album itself and really just kind of appreciate the music and the vibe of it for sure.
No, yeah, completely agree.
And with it being like a horror kind of themed narrative and everything too, that brings in other fans, because I got into metal because of horror, really. So anything like that, like a concept, even if I'm not familiar with the band, it's like shit, I'll check it out, just to see
Uh,
what it's all about.
yeah, no,
And
I
really,
agree.
if it's got horror in it, I'm gonna try to check it out. At least, you know, give it a listen. Um, so yeah, with DIEnecology here, and we got the album and everything set up. Like to actually talk about death and how it relates to metal or you or what inspires you, love for horror and everything like that. I try to figure out other perspectives on it and how we are drawn to that idea or just our mortality itself, or if you have experiences involving it. Anything really you like talk about the concept of it. Um, like I said, whether it's experiences or just what kind of draws you into it and how are you able to turn that into music and a concept for an album and all that stuff. So
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody thinks of death, a lot in their own ways and stuff. I
yeah.
grew up religious, I went to
Mhm.
Christian school because that's what my mom wanted for me and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And I feel like that almost gave me like this weird obsession with like mortality and death. And I think that, I think everybody does, definitely if you're religious, because I feel like, religion only exists because people fear death. They don't want, the unknown. They don't want things to cease to exist.
Right.
Over
They need
time,
answers. Yeah.
yeah, over time, I'm not scared of death anymore. I don't view it as like something, that is particularly scary. I just feel like
Right.
I was born and I had nothing before, and I feel like it's the same thing with when I'll die.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
feel like I don't have like some like weird obsession with death. I find
Right,
it
yeah.
interesting, and I find it like writing about concepts like that, like through either even like other bands that I've had. I don't know. I just find it interesting. Definitely when it comes to like a record like this, where it's I guess someone, killing people essentially on the entire record. Because yeah, I think that like that thought is scary though, like I guess thinking about what it would be like to get killed is like a fucking scary concept.
Or
Um,
murdered, essentially, I guess.
yeah, yeah, and writing from that perspective of someone that isn't scared to take some lives, and
Hmm.
then I guess the reaction of the victims from that person's perspective. But
Right.
I just find it interesting. I don't know why, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't know what drew me to it. When I was a kid, um, I like accidentally watched Chucky when I was like 6 or 7.
Yeah, that was one of my first films too.
Yeah, and I think like maybe that being like a comedic tie into it
Yeah, yeah.
maybe made me interested in it. But I mean, yeah, I mean it's entertaining, it's thrill seeking to, watch horror movies and stuff. It's like going on a fucking amusement ride or something. And
Yeah,
you know, uh and it's big. Everybody goes through it, everybody's gonna die one day. So
very true.
I think I don't know. I think everybody's drawn to it a little bit. It's, the darker side of life.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people don't really have a way to express or talk about it as much. Because it's not like you can just be like, hey, I really wanted to kill this dude in traffic today, like actually kill him.
Yeah.
But it's not like we all have that emotion, whether we want to accept it or not. It's part of nature and our brains, the way they're wired. Um,
Yeah, I mean, if you look at history, we're pretty much on the fucking the tail end of murder, Like it was pretty
yeah,
accepted
yeah,
uh until the last how many fucking years, you know what I mean? Compared to like human history,
yeah,
I'm pretty sure, humans were pretty close to murder. And
yeah,
just now obviously as a society, we think it is probably a bad thing to kill people.
right.
So
Most of
that's a
us
good
do.
thing.
Yeah.
But I think I think there's still like that underlying human urge,
Sure,
definitely if someone's betrayed you in insane ways, of
sure.
course that's like the first thing your brain is going to go to.
Yeah, yeah,
But thankfully, you could write about stuff instead of actually doing it
exactly.
and going to jail.
Yeah, and that's why I think these perspectives are important to be able to have the freedom to write things like this because it's like it may be stemming from a perspective of your own that's inspired by other perspectives or characters or horror novels or books or movies, but it's from your own creation and imagination, and it's really manifesting, just a mix of different things and just perspectives um, of death and all that stuff. So, I think there's a comfortability in being able to write things like this and to be able to express this side of humanity, if you will. Um, because, you can turn it, I don't want to say fun, but it kind of is, like horror movies are fun because, they're not real, and it's a representation of what these situations can be like. And it doesn't, it's like Patrick Bateman running around naked with a chainsaw. I mean, it's great. Even though
Yeah.
it's like it's fucking horrifying if that really happened to you or somebody else. But being able to see these things projected and not like have to fear them, but kind of embrace them, or just kind of accept them as a, hopefully none of that's actual reality, but
I mean,
it's just kind
definitely
of
probably has happened,
sure,
which is
sure.
crazy. But yeah, I love the ridiculousness of,
Yeah,
horror and stuff like that. It's just, it's so over the top. And
yeah,
that's what I wanted to write about, just something that's just so fucking absolutely absurd.
yeah,
That it, kind of captures like this, sort of, I guess like psychopath vibe.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And fans outside of metal will be like, "Oh, these people are nuts." Like, I mean, I guess a little bit, but
Yeah.
it's good to express that side, but it's not like this is anything any of us would ever do. It's
Yeah,
just,
I mean, I think that's kind of bullshit though, just in
yeah,
general with like people finding, bands that are metal like writing about this stuff as like something that's insane because, I think everybody, definitely if they've gone through betrayal or, just like real betrayal, like something that's, beyond your comprehension of what should have happened in your own life. Everybody
sure,
goes for that. You know what I mean? At least, I don't
absolutely.
know if it's a male thing, testosterone. I have no idea, but there's been multiple times where people in my life have, fucked me over, and that's the first thing you fucking think about. It's like,
Yeah.
why do you even exist? You know what I mean? Like, why the fuck
Yeah.
is this able to happen? This shouldn't be able to happen. So yeah, if anybody ever goes like, oh, you're crazy for writing about this stuff, it's like first thing, it's a creative outlet, it's
Yeah.
expression, it's art. And
Exactly.
second thing, like if you don't feel these urges, then I don't know, like I would question someone's ability at the opposite end to like I guess like love deeply. Like I have uh intense emotions in general.
Yeah,
So
sure.
I feel
Same.
like the pendulum, swings both ways, like I do feel like this intense uh hatred and stuff towards, terrible people and terrible situations, but
Sure.
on the other accord, that doesn't mean that like I don't have an intense love or appreciation for the good things in my life. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you kind of need the other end to humble that end of it. You know what I mean? Like
of
you need
course,
you need to have both parallels there to really appreciate either side of it. And
yeah, if you don't have, low lows, how are you going to appreciate the high highs,
exactly, exactly. Yeah, so this kind of raw emotion is just it's always good to see. It's good to see people making concepts like this, like I said, being a big horror fan, I enjoy seeing it and reading it and listening to it. Um, so I guess talk about the singles you have out currently. We'll start with the newest one with VHS because I like the actual concept for that one, and having what's his name from Spite? I can't think of his name. Dario.
Darius.
Yeah, Darius. Yeah,
Yeah,
which is sick. He's such an amazing vocalist himself.
yeah,
Just having him on the track, it just added an extra little cherry on top to it. So I guess talk about VHS a little bit in the video.
yeah. So VHS, I had the concept of that song, and I've always been super inspired by I guess like tape culture, analog and
Yeah,
stuff like that. And there's been a plentiful of movies that I've watched, 8mm being like one of the biggest inspirations for that song.
yeah, yeah,
It was kind of just like this snuff film type of vibe that I wanted to go for. And I've explored concepts with it with like Void by Bloodbather, and like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
pretty similar. But I wanted to just take it to like the next level. So that was I guess the concept behind VHS was just like, furthering that song to something that would be like, I guess, the next level, and putting it in my own words in my own way. And Darius, he's been a friend that I've had, for years now. We've played, some shows together with Spite, since probably 2016 or 2017. I don't
Oh,
even
wow.
remember. So, it was an easy pick to just go with him. And he's like he's a good friend, and I have a lot of respect for him. And I love his, his vocal style, his range. So I just felt like, him, he also just has like the balls in music to also, I feel like push the button when it comes to like lyrics. I feel like he's never
Yeah,
held back
yeah.
lyrics. So that was another reason why I was like, he's an easy pick, because I feel like a lot of bands kind of hold their tongue when it comes to lyrics nowadays. They're a little too scared to, say bad things or whatever the fuck, which I think is fucking ridiculous. But
It's metal, You gotta.
yeah, I mean, it's like
This is the place for it.
watching a horror movie that needs to be censored or something. It's like fuck that.
PG-13 horror.
Yeah, no. So uh, we're making the fucking X-rated, not
Oh,
rated fucking music, and yeah, no, he was an easy pick, and he did an amazing job. Like, I can't even put into words how excited I was when I heard his part. It sounded fucking amazing.
yeah, yeah. And as a fan of both bands, hearing him come on the track, it's like Jesus, it's what I expected, but also surprises you every time.
Yeah.
So yeah, hell of a feature for sure. So yeah, it's looking forward to that, to hearing the whole thing and the concept and everything. Um, we got Cage for Extermination. That was said it was co-written by Hunter of Psycho Frame, which I love that band too, and Mood Ring. So I guess talk about that as well and bringing him in.
Yeah, so I mean, we produced the record with Digital Ghost Audio, which is him and
Nice.
Brandon Lopez. So
Hell
he
yeah.
was, co-producing on every song. And it was a good experience, and definitely working with Brandon. I've worked with Brandon now with Bloodbather for, years. And was the first time I worked with him, and it's always been a good experience. I love Brandon. He's a real good, close personal friend. So yeah, it was a good experience, and fucking I think the record sounds great,
Yeah.
so I'm super stoked to have other people hear, the hard work that was put into it.
Yeah, yeah, and I can tell you guys definitely, worked hard. There's a lot of inspiration and attitude behind it, and just it's good to have a fresh concept and kind of have your own freedom and control over this. And I'm looking forward to seeing it unfold. And then the first one was Amputated Satisfaction. So when you put this single out, what was the overall kind of reception from fans and stuff and feedback you got from the first release?
uh it's interesting because the video came out a little bit late,
Yeah.
which just seems to be like the reoccurring theme for me. It's just like doing music videos a little too late. I just keep on fucking doing it.
Yeah,
But the visualizer had amazing
yeah.
reception, but the video actually didn't have great reception. And I feel like a lot of videos, just in general, with me having my look and stuff,
Hmm.
a lot of people seem to focus on that more than anything, which, I'm aware of. It's not like I'm ignorant to the fact that, wearing makeup and dressing the way that I do.
Again, we're in metal, man. It's
Yeah,
like that's one
it's
of the things
it's
that I was like, this is fucking sick.
yeah. I
I
mean,
like that.
some people respect it. Some people are gonna call you, a fag.
Right. Yeah.
It's like it's whatever. I don't care at this point. But yeah, the reception for the song was great. But
Yeah.
usually, yeah, it's always interesting to see the YouTube comments and just people fucking,
YouTube's the worst.
yeah. No, I mean, but I'm used to it. I'm used to the lamb goat
Yeah,
comments.
yeah, Lamb Goat too. Yeah, all that shit.
But
Or
uh,
people just chirping and trolling. It's not even people that really give a shit. It's just
yeah.
people just gotta point out shit. Like,
Yeah, but honestly, I think the reception was overall positive, and in general,
Good.
I don't, you know, I've been doing music for over a decade now, so
Right.
nothing really gets under my skin anymore.
Good.
As long as people are listening, that's all I really care about. You know, if
Yeah.
they want to share it and say this guy looks fucking weird and his band's wearing masks and stuff, so lame. It's like, fuck it, that's a share. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
more attention towards my music, so that's all I care about.
Exactly. The haters listen more than the fans do. They
Yeah,
pay more attention in a weird way.
yeah. I mean,
Um,
fuck it.
that's it. That's what this music's for. There you go.
There you go.
But no, I appreciate it. I like when people express themselves how they want. That's what metal's for. That's what music's for. I mean, people do a lot weirder shit. I didn't see your concept as weird at all. I was like,
Yeah.
this just looks sick. I mean,
I mean,
so
I think like it was all planned too with crucifixion, like even, going to the gym and like making sure I looked the part, like
yeah,
everything was planned out because I feel like that's my issue with metal, is I guess I'm more of like a creative or like theatrical guy, and I feel like, yeah, like I'm so bored of metal dudes, saying all this shit and being like
yeah,
either just completely out of shape or like, like just not scary looking at all, like you're wearing a
yeah,
t-shirt. It's like I don't know, like it's just like so boring to me. So I've always tried to, you know, express myself in a way that I guess would be like more of a character in a movie, something interesting to look at,
yeah.
like what bands in, metal are wearing like fucking the stuff that I'm wearing, not many.
Exactly.
Uh, but I find it to be more interesting and more appealing to look at than
Sure.
I guess the majority of bands in metal just, boring looking.
If you can pull it off, do it. I can't pull off much. I can transition from wearing death metal long sleeves to like looking like a fucking hardcore dude and just put a sports jersey on. But other than that, there's not a whole lot I could pull off. But
Hey man,
you know,
you never know, dude.
yeah.
You never know.
I'm not afraid to wear anything. I'll wear a fucking Hawaiian shirt. I don't give a shit. I'll
Fuck
wear
yeah.
whatever. I have
There you
fun
go.
on stage. But yeah, I like having people that can express themselves, have a character, especially if you're driving this concept, at least for this record. Um, if someone actually sees it live in the performance, it would kind of draw them in even more. I like immersion in music and like getting sucked into not just a story, but like this is an experience right now that's not just, oh, I'm seeing a band on stage playing. It's like I'm seeing an experience.
Yeah,
Like
of course.
there's a difference between that. And I love concerts in general and seeing bands and stuff, but it's nice when you have certain bands that really embrace their concept and they can bring a live performance versus just like, hey, we're dudes up here with instruments, we're playing, we're heavy, move around, which I love, but getting something else is really nice once in a while too, like you
Yeah,
said.
it's just a difference of I guess, perspectives going into music. But yeah, I feel like I like when the music looks and sounds uh appropriate, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, for
Like
sure.
growing up, like obviously big fan of, people like Marilyn Manson.
Yeah,
Um
yeah,
and it's just watching his videos, it just made sense to look with the image and the sound. And I always found it to be like, super interesting. 'Cause, I feel like a lot of men in music in general just, they don't really stick out like that. And I feel like
yeah,
it's fun to be a dude in metal and just in anything, honestly, and just expressing myself to the fullest extent,
yeah,
because you never see, girls holding punches with, their outfits or their makeup and stuff.
sure.
So why should I? Definitely when in history, people like David Bowie and whoever else,
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
there's so many people that express themselves to the fullest extent. So that's what I do.
And we can't forget the hair metal and shit. Everybody loved that, like the
Yeah,
alpha
right.
male dudes and all that. And it's like,
They fucking loved it. What happened to that?
yeah, come on.
Where's the sex appeal anymore? Everybody looks like shit.
Where's the cock pieces and the leather? Come on, man.
Yeah, let's bring it back.
Let's go. We're still here. It's 2024. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
but yeah, I'm again really excited. Do you guys have shows coming up? Or are you still working on material, or what are the plans for Crucifixion going forward?
Yeah, so I mean, it's just I guess honing in on the live show aspect and stuff, and just figuring out what, I want to play and the band situation and stuff. So that's kind of just where my head's at. We have some, like, I guess, like preliminary uh dates for shows and stuff. I definitely want to do shows and tours and stuff. But I wanted to wait until the album's out so people can
Sure.
really
Yeah.
ingest it, and when time comes to play shows, I guess I wanted the record to be out so people have that connection to the music, and
Sure.
kind of just be able to come in knowing what they're going to expect, and then hopefully surprising them even more.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't have any real set in stone dates, but there will be shows, there will be tours and stuff. But I'm taking my time with it compared to what I feel like a lot of bands do, which is the opposite. They play shows
Yeah.
immediately, and the music is almost like a second thought. I think the music is the most important fact, and
Yeah.
the art, and getting that out first, and then letting people digest it and really become, um, I guess, involved with it, and fans of it before they come to the show. I feel like is something that I'm more interested in.
Sure. Yeah. It adds more anticipation because if you're, especially if you're playing locally or something like that, and you know they already heard the music live, it won't, like, maybe it won't meet the expectations on the record versus what they already know you can bring live. You know what I mean? Like, they already have this really high expectation, and then maybe they like the live version more than the album or whatever. I mean, also just like you said, having room for everything to digest, and you can build that anticipation, like, oh, now I can go see them do this shit, and then it just makes it so much better. Like when you can finally go see the band live after listening to their record for weeks, it definitely helps the live performance out for sure.
I agree.
So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. It's one of my most anticipated releases for the rest of this year, so I'm excited to finally check it out.
Hell
Um,
yeah, man. I really appreciate that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And like I said, being a Bloodbather fan, I'm here for the long haul and whatever else you do. So support you all the way.
Fuck yeah.
Um, so yeah, the Will to Power comes out October 11th on Rise Records. You can check out their other singles currently now on YouTube. Go hit up all their pages. Like, subscribe, share, buy some shit, buy the merch. Uh, I'll put all the links up for your sites on there as well.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, and if you have anything else to plug or share, or final thoughts or anything,
Yeah, I mean, first off, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
of course.
And Crucifixion Cult on most socials besides X or Twitter, which is Crucifixion 666.
Hell yeah.
If you want to follow me, all my stuff is Salem Vex. And yeah, album drops October 11th. And if you're young and into music, make bands, continue art, and don't hold back. That's my final thoughts.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I really appreciate your time and for coming on and talking to me for a little while. And yeah, yeah, best of luck, and hopefully we'll see you on the road sometime. And looking forward to the album.
Fuck yeah. All right. Thank you,
Right.
man.